Hello, everyone. Hope you all are doing great. Welcome to our today's session of Meet the Global Leader. This session is all about sharing professionals' insight, their skill sets, how do they work, and how they implement skills in their day-to-day operation, and how did they develop their skills, how to overcome challenges, and how to some advice for students who are currently studying at universities, who are mainly our audience, who actually listen to this webinar, and they want to learn about how people are doing things around the world. So today we would like to share some insights from Kerstin. She is a motivated and enthusiastic professional with excellent language skills, worked in multicultural teams and managed projects across the globe. Her expertise lies in leadership, team management, and business strategy with certifications in Google Analytics, travel life sustainability, and digital marketing. As an active member of sorority, she is also dedicated to diversity management and equality and feminism. So she is going to share her insights and experience on leadership, project management, and her journey as a global professional. So, Kerstin, welcome to our session. How are you doing?
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. Hello, everyone. I'm doing very well. It's early in the morning in Vienna, but yeah, I'm
Great.
excited about this talk.
Great. As you know, we actually try to first know about our guest speakers' student lives. So, if you share about your student life, how was it, and what actually motivated you to pursue a degree in international tourism management, and how did your university experience shape your career?
That's an excellent question. Well, I really loved my student life, to be honest. I love being a student. I really like to learn, learn new things and new skills. So I actually had a fabulous time. It was a bit difficult for me to get to my path, like of tourism management, because I wasn't really sure what to do after my school. Like I knew I really like languages, I really like to work with people, but there are so many options with these two things. So after school, I actually was 1 year in Australia, work and travel, and I just noticed, well, I really like this whole traveling world, or I like the tourism industry, and it's really interesting. There are many opportunities for me, especially to speak my languages, to be abroad, to work internationally. And so I decided, to look for options. And by coincidence, I found Stenden, which is a university in the north of the Netherlands. They have a really practical approach, and they convinced me basically to apply there. It was really easy, and I met wonderful people there. I had a great time. I had a great education. It was, as I said, really practical. We did a lot of group projects, a lot of presentations. So I can recommend it generally. Like the studying concept in the Netherlands, I personally find very well structured and very well to really learn skills that you can use in your later life. Because often in Germany, for instance, where I'm originally from, the university is very theoretical. So it's often hard really to get the practical skills if you don't work somewhere. So that's what I really enjoyed.
Great, and yeah, you meant to have some experience and develop some really professional skills. Students have to actually involve themselves with different work, part time or like internship or volunteering activities. So, what actually made you pursue your career or like in another country?
Um, well, I was always interested in different cultures and in people, living abroad, how's the life there. I was very eager actually to leave Germany and to find out or to experience something else. I mean, I was very privileged in that sense that in my high school we had also the option to do school exchanges and uh, internships abroad as well. So I had a little bit of experience and a little taste of it. And I was like, I want more of that. And studying is like a great opportunity. So yeah, I mean, in the end, it was by coincidence, but I always loved going abroad. It was always my dream in that sense.
Great. So after graduation, if you share about your journey of entering into your professional career, how was it, and how did you start your career?
Well, we had a really long internship in the program that I studied. It was like 7 months, and I did it in South America, in Ecuador precisely. And after that, I went back to Germany to finish my studies, and then I was a bit, yeah, lost like where to go, because actually I had friends at that point at, like, everywhere on the globe. So I hadn't that one location in my life. I was like, okay, this is my home. So I was very open to it. And I thought, well, I already know Ecuador from my internship now. I know the tourism industry, it's not really big there. If the main things, you're like really good equipped. And so I thought, yeah, why not go back? So I started my career actually in Ecuador in the tourism industry, partly also because I met my ex-boyfriend there, so of course I wanted to go back to him. But yeah, that's where I started working in two different travel agencies or tour operators, and yeah, bit by bit, gathered some experience in key account management mainly.
Great. Sorry. Uh, you know, uh, you did an internship on sales and marketing. Great. So, students before entering into their career, especially in Bangladesh, they have a little bit, most of the students have a little bit negative mindset about sales. So, if you share about the importance of internship in an to an like a student to a student, how they should see, or do you think about seriously doing the internship to like preparing themselves for their professional career, and particularly how sales and marketing internship can like shape a student, or prepare themselves for their next course of action or next professional career.
Well, I totally understand the negative mindset about sales. I'm a bit similar about it. However, sales is such a big field, and in every company, it means something else. So when I say sales, I actually work mainly in key account management, which is not doing like, getting new clients. There were already clients there, and I had to take care of them, to support them, to organize their troubles, basically. But this can differ from company to company, and everyone is a different person as well. Some people really like to go out there and convince people of a product or a service, and others are more maybe introvert, more like, okay, I want to have my clients, but already here, and that's totally fine. I think you have to find out um, what you're up for, like what do you like to do. Every person is different, and it's totally fine. What I really liked about sales and marketing, about the sales and marketing internship I had, that was at Equa Traveling, a travel agency mainly for backpackers, but for any kind of tourists actually who wanted to book small trips when they were in Ecuador. It was really creative, and they gave me a lot of space, a lot of, yeah, own control to take care of my clients. I mean, it was, compared to the work I did later in a tour operator, the work was easier, of course. But still, it was like learning to a bit get out of my comfort zone, talk to clients, try a little bit in a safe space, because this is an internship. In the end, it doesn't matter for me. I don't stay there, but for me, in a safe space, to try out, like, okay, how can I convince people of something? Maybe I can sell them another tour as well. Maybe, I don't know, I can convince them of the bigger package. So I think there's a lot of personal learnings that you can get from it, stepping out of your comfort zone, maybe also being creative. But it also highly depends on the company and the internship, because some companies give you a lot of space and free, free time, or to do your thing basically, and others are more like, okay, we just give you like the easy administrative task. Of course, you don't. That's not such a nice internship. You have to find out from the company, but it's a good way to, just start the first step in a career, because you never know who you meet. Sorry, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great. That is true. Because this is just a option, like a training ground to find out the gap or weakness, how they can develop themselves. What are the things a corporation actually wants from their staff, or from students, from graduates as well. So you have worked in multiple countries, including Ecuador and Austria. How did these international experiences shape your perspective on business and leadership?
That's a really interesting question and difficult to answer. I think there's like every culture is a bit different in the way they work. Every culture has different values, of course. I think for me, I just really love to take all the positive things with me. The positive things that I learn, I like to take it with me to the next job. So, and I think that's how companies also profit. If they get new people in, what can I bring to the culture? If done right. Ecuador was very different from working than what I was used to do in Europe. Actually, they were not so direct as we are like in Germany or even in Austria. We rather direct people, who address the problems. Ecuador, it was not so common, so there was sometimes also a bit conflict. They are difficult for me to adapt because the communication was so different. Of course, it was also communication in a language that was not my mother tongue, which is also always difficult, and there are barricades, of course. But I also, to be honest, I mean, I had lovely experiences and was a great starting point, but I also learned a lot of things that I don't want in my professional life, or I don't want to be when I'm in a position that I'm a leader and talk to my people. I want to do differently. I also learned a lot of things that were really positive. And yeah, that's what I kind of took to Austria, and Austria works very different. It's way more efficient. It's like way quicker how people work here, and really, yeah, different experience. So now I'm a bit spoiled, I would say. So like I'm used to it here now, and it's definitely the culture where I fit in better, to be honest, to work. But of course, everything shapes you and is an experience and makes you stronger and wiser in the way that you do things. And I think in many ways that you don't even realize in your daily life, maybe, subconsciously is there.
Absolutely, mindset is very important. And as you are a project manager, so if you share a little bit about to manage a project, what are the skills that an individual should have, and if you share a little bit about what is project management and what is your actual task, like a regular task, the day-to-day operations, and to do those efficiently, what are the skills necessary to have?
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting because, yeah, as I said before, I actually started out in tourism industry. Now I kind of changed to tech industry, which was it was not planned, it just happened. But I'm really glad because my university back then, as I said, was really practical, and our whole education was based in project management. So I already learned that a little bit during studies, of course, not in the tech field, it was a tourism field, but I would say like the soft skills I learned. And I love project management in a sense that it is a job you don't need to have the education for. I mean, there are project management studies, for instance. It is not necessarily needed to get there. It's a great job also if you switch careers, if you want to try something else. The most important thing, I guess, skills wise, is that you're an organized person, that you're good at communicating, that you're good with people, like good at reading people. You are not per se always a leader, but you're always in charge of the project, which makes you the person in the end who has to deal with everything and has to get everyone on track, which can be challenging at times. But yeah, again, it's all practice, it's all experience. And so my task, I mean, it also varies from company to company. Project management is a really wide field, I would say. Like if you look for a project management job, there's so many different things that pop up. But in my perspective, working in a web software environment, I was in charge basically for the client. So it was kind of a mixed position, project management and key accounts. So I'm the intermediate between the developers and the client. I talk to the client, we have meetings, we write emails, we have calls, like what are the problems, I understand what do they want to do with their brand, with their website. So I kind of have to translate it to a developer. So, okay, that's what the client want. How do we get there? And we work in a more agile field, which means that we don't plan ahead very long. We have small episodes of tasks that we do, and we break them down into little tasks. So we don't have like a really big task, but we break them down in little things so everyone knows exactly what to do, or should at least. The reality sometimes is different. So I was responsible for setting up these tasks, writing the descriptions, giving all the informations, doing the briefings, doing the testing in the end, doing also the controlling, like how many hours did we actually use? Is that in the budget? I have to do the invoices, so the whole package. And for me, it's really a fun job because that's what I like to do. I'm an organized person and I like to bring structure in a process. And at the same time, I like to be there for the people and brainstorm together with them what is the best solution, how do we get there.
Perfect. And you are also a blogger. And so, like if you share a little bit about, like content creation skills. So,
What's
like how to create content, and how this skill, if students develop this, have this skill, yeah, content creation skill, how it can help them in their future career, and if they want to start blogging, how what are the things they should consider?
Yeah, great question. I think, well, the blogger thing for me, it's more like of a hobby. It's not, I don't get paid for it. I really do that because it's a creative task I really love to do. I always loved writing. I always did it already as a child, and I somehow it continued in my life. And I think content is a really specific thing because similar to other subjects, it's not for everyone, of course. However, it can be a great form to express yourself. It's a great form to address maybe topics that you usually don't address, maybe in your professional life or in your personal life, vice versa. You can use it as a platform. In the professional field, I would say it's kind of linked to communication as well. It's always good if you know what to say with the right words. Like words are powerful, especially in a business context, how we communicate with each other. How is the meeting going? Do I get, to the point, or do I just ramble around and people like lose interest? So it's maybe a great way also to reflect yourself, and to learn little bit how to express yourself in the best way possible. So you reach a lot of people, you motivate people, you make people understand your point. And yeah, in the professional field, the content field is really very wide what you can do with it, and especially nowadays with social media marketing and all these things, Google rankings. It's not a bad skill to have, because it's a lot is happening in digital space and websites. And I always believe, I mean, I'm a writer, so I'm really obsessed with words and everything, but it so influences you, also subconsciously. And it's always nice to be aware of that, I guess.
True, absolutely. And like it's better to have a hobby that can actually like help you mentally, and can make you like jolly and fresh. So how do you think diversity management and equality can be promoted in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a really great topic as well. It's really broad, and I think it's still. I mean, there's more and more attention drawn it. I guess you all notice it, like more and more in the last years, together with the COVID crisis or other crises. It becomes more and more a topic, which is great. I don't think it still doesn't get the attention it deserves, like how important it actually is. And it is also harder to integrate in a workspace than people think, I guess, because most of the people think like, okay, I'm aware of it. I treat everyone like equally. it's easy, but it's actually a lot of work. It's a lot of unconscious bias that we have, not only in a diversity field, but like generally, how we perceive people, how we perceive our colleagues, especially in the HR process, in the recruiting process. It's a lot of things happen, you know, if you're not aware of that. A lot of things can go wrong, which will hinder you to have the diversity that you need for your company. So what I believe is the best way, and this is of course a privileged thing because not every company has budget for it or the time. I mean, it's a priority thing at the end, and at the moment it's not a big priority for most companies, but it will be. Really to have a dedicated person taking care of these things. There is so many different tools to do that. Like this is not the time now, you know, to name them all, but there's like so many things that you can do, so many studies, so many books you can read about it. And it's some measures are really simple, you know, like changing the HR process, and we just want the person's details, not the name, not the photo. So we don't know if it's with what gender the person has. And we decide basically just on the skills, you know, it's the little things like that. You have to change something, but you don't have to change everything. But you have to take a step. It's not coming from itself. You cannot sit there and wait to have a more diverse team. You have to do active steps. And the best way to do is, as I said, was like a dedicated person, or especially in the HR department, having more focus on these topics in every department.
Absolutely. And, like, especially in Bangladesh, or maybe, like sometimes this misconception about professionals as well as students, that if you start working, say, for example, tourism industry or FMCG industry or any specific industry, you cannot shift, or you have to be in that segment or industry for a long time. So that is the misconception about, or you cannot actually, you can never change the industry you start working for.
Yeah.
So the thing is, according to you, as you like transition from the tourism industry to project management, so actually if you share what inspired you for that transition, and what the skills did you need to acquire to make this transition successful, and what do you think about changing industry and whether it is possible, or what are the skill sets that can help any professional to transit from one industry to another?
I guess, well, what inspired me to do that was actually the COVID crisis. I mean, tourism was not the industry anymore. It was like super safe as it was before. I mean, that changed now, of course, everything is getting back on track. But in that time, it was, especially in Austria, really a rocky time for tourism. It was not too safe. There wasn't so much money. I wanted to develop. I mean, back in a time when I was working in tourism, it was, you know, where I should be, and it was a perfect job. But I developed, and I noticed, okay, in my area, in key account and a tour operator or travel agency, I do not learn anything anymore. And I wasn't given any development possibilities for my company. They simply didn't have it or didn't want it. So I was like, okay, then I look somewhere else. It was also a bit a company related issue because I didn't feel really, I didn't feel well in the team. I didn't get along well with my manager. There was also like a motivation to leave. So I was looking generally for key account management jobs, and by coincidence, I saw this job, which was project management and key account, like a mixed position, and I applied, and I kind of got into there. So it was not like a decision, okay, I changed now industries. It's kind of what happened. The skills that you need to do that is I guess be brave, you know, like be courageous. I'm not sure if that is a skill, but it's something that you have, like, you know, be open-minded to how take it as it comes, because life always turns out differently that you want to. I thought I would work in tourism my whole life. Turns out I didn't, and that's totally fine, and it's exciting as well. just, yeah, also, be there, be your, be the best version of yourself, and learn new things and put in the good work. So it's all possible if people let you. You just have to find the right company for it and the right people, but there's always someone who will. And generally, what you said, like the other question, like what I think about changing industries. Personally, I think it's a great thing, and everyone should do that once in a while. It's not like an obligation, but for me personally, I think there is more to life than the same 10 people, the same three tasks. But this is my personality. I just love to grow. I like to have new experiences. Other people might feel very comfortable where they are, and that's totally fine as well. We need these people. But it broadens your experience. It makes you, I think, also more interesting candidate for jobs. It will help you for future jobs if you can, if your skill set is broader, if you have experience in different areas. Especially if you want to go into leadership, it's always good to have several perspectives and perceptions. It will help you for that.
Great. And talking about challenges, like students as well as professionals, they face challenges in their work, when they study as well. So, what is your approach when you are in a challenging situation, or when you say challenges? How students should overcome, or see, um, or adapt in a challenging situation? How they can overcome challenges? What to do during a challenging situation, according to you?
I think everyone reacts really differently to challenges. Like there are different ways to handle it, and there's like not one right way. As I see it in my life, first of all, I'm a big fan of coaching. I'm a big fan of seeking help. Actually, if you're at the crossroad, you're not sure what to do. If you're in a situation you don't know how to handle it, it's always good to have people around you that understand you, understand your culture, your being, and can give you good advice. And this, it doesn't need to be professional. I mean, I love, I mean, I have a business coach. I love taking sessions, and it's so helpful for me. But of course, as a student, you don't always have the budget for it. But you also don't need to have a coach necessarily. It just needs to have good people, friends, family, maybe also teachers who can help you with that to get a second opinion. Sometimes it's just eye-opening. Otherwise, how I handle challenges, I try to reflect on it, try not to be impulsive, listen to my gut feeling because it's always right. You always know the answer, even though you might be, confused at times. It's totally normal. And maybe you're scared to make the decision that you feel. And I'm not like super old. I'm 32 now, but I already learned that actually the best decisions I took were always my gut feeling. It's always right. And this is something you have to learn. And as a student, I wasn't at that point, to be honest. But it is something you learn over your life, your personal life, professional life. You get there, and it's okay, trust you. I think it's like every person who has to give advice for like their younger self would say, okay, trust the feeling, trust yourself, you know yourself best, and go for it. Just try it out, because almost every decision is reversible. You can always change it, but it's always good to make a decision and to go forward, to not stay stuck, but to just do something. If it doesn't work, you try something else. So yeah, going forward, diving into it, I would say.
Right. And like you mentioned about mentorship. So how significant or important it is for students to like seek mentorship, or select or find mentor to get support, suggestion, advice. If you share regarding importance of having mentor, and how to select, or like who can be a mentor according to you.
Very good question. Yeah, I think, that was also a process for me. I had my first mentor or coach in that sense. That I was like, knowing about, because of course you have your friends, they're kind of your mentors as well. Sometimes you don't notice it, but they give you advice, they lead you, or your family. For me, actively, I sought out a coach. I think it was 27. So I believe for me, I was looking for someone helping me through a challenge actually, because at work I had some problems with my manager. I didn't know how to deal with it. So it's like, okay, I can either quit my job, look for something else, or I try this and I get help. And the whole thing of allowing yourself to ask for help, to get help, to be open to it, is also something we have to learn, because depending on the culture we grew up in, usually we don't really learn that. It's mostly like you have to figure it out on your own. If you can't do it, you're not meant for it, and that's bullshit. There's something I think we have to relearn in our 20s, to see it's okay to ask for help, and we can help each other. And I don't think there's like a special definition of who can be a mentor, because anyone can be a mentor that helps you in a sense, that guides you, that gives you advice where you think, okay, I can work with that. This is helping me. Sometimes when there's so many ideas, so many decisions around me, or so many options, it's too much. It helps me to see through them. Yeah, if that is like your 90-year-old grandma, or like maybe your little sister, someone at work, someone maybe who's not too close to you, who's not biased of you, it's also really helpful. And yeah, so again, go with a gut feeling if it feels right. If you have a good feeling with the person,
Yeah.
if you, after the conversation, you leave with like a positive feeling and it drives you, then it's the right choice.
Absolutely. And like to there are so many opportunities available, resources available. They should actually go and find it and use it, because like in most cases, not any resource is going to come to them and say, oh, take me, or take utilize this resource. So students should actually engage themselves with, apart from their studies, with different activities, mix with people, learn from people, so that they can all together gathering all those information and resources, they can like decide, they can take some best decisions of their life before graduation. So
Exactly.
if we sum up, like if you share the few key skills that students should develop before graduation, so that like it will be easier for them if they develop those skills to pursue their professional career right after their graduation.
I think the most important skills, when you talk about skills in general, are your soft skills. Because hard skills you can always learn in a job, in a tech industry, in a tourism industry, wherever you want to work. These are skills you can always learn, or you can ask for help. Basically, you can get other people in to help you with that. The hardest skills to learn are your soft skills, because this is also very, very much based on the culture you grew up in, the family you grew up in, the values you were taught as a child. And also then again, the company culture, which can also be very different. And in my experience, what I saw in the different jobs that I worked, and I worked in a couple, the soft skills are always the ones that, or the people with good soft skills are always the hardest to get, and they're really valuable. And if the company is smart enough and see these people who have these great soft skills, they treasure these people, because other things you can learn, the knowledge about a topic, you can learn about the tech industry. It's not a problem. It's difficult to teach your employees to communicate well. So with soft skills, maybe just a bit of explanation here what I mean. It's like, yeah, it's communication, it's like perception, it is how you behave in a meeting, it's showing up on time, it's being organized, being on top of your things, things that you don't need an education for, but it's something you can train yourself to. Everyone can do that, no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is. You can work on these things, you can show up for yourself, and so you show up for others and be there, and that makes a really good impression, no matter how the quality of your work is, by the way. But these are things that make or break a team, make or break a project or a meeting. And the older I get, or like the more I see in the workplace, is that it's actually fascinating how many people are actually in leadership positions and they do not know this, they do not have these skills. Some are reflected about it and, do courses, learn it, because we're never told to learn, right? We're never told to improve. But many are not aware of that. And many people leave companies because of that, because of management, because of bad leadership, bad communication skills. And those,
Bosses.
yeah, bad bosses, exactly. It's so sad because it's so unnecessary. And you have these people who can do it, who can teach other people. And for me, I was really lucky, as I said, in my education at Stanton. We learned a lot of these things. We learned about management skills. We learned how to hold a meeting, how to give presentations, all these things which helped me to become a good employee in that sense and a good team member. But I also know I was really privileged. I was really lucky because most of the universities don't do that, which is a shame because that's the place to learn, right? Because in the workplace, it takes so much longer to learn that. But yeah, that's maybe what I can give on the way. Like try to learn these soft skills. If it's not given to you in the university, try in your free time, try a hobby, try groups where you can learn it, maybe do something voluntarily where you can master these skills. Also, of course, at the workplace, you always learn. You can always use it as an experience, as a safe space to test these things. And if you feel like you lack something, I would also always address that with the company. If it's a company that will give you also time to do courses or to improve yourself, maybe they have some internal courses as well. And this is always, yeah, always be open to improve yourself without saying like you're not good enough, but like I'm always open to improve.
Absolutely, like we used to, or we are, like used to hear that doctors, lawyers, they also their life they have to study because they have to update the latest, maybe something that is related to in medical science and in the field of law. So it's not about that. Every professional should who are in irrespective of their industry, they should keep themselves updated with the new things coming, like maybe in case of demand, customer, their behavior, in anything. So always like stay hungry for learn new things, update ourselves is very important for all. So Kristen, thank you so much for the interesting insights that you have shared with us. Our audience who are students, they're going to watch it and they will learn so many new things. And the main objective, one of the main objectives is so that they can actually shape their mindset and thinking based on the like interesting story and some advice lessons that you have shared with us. On behalf of School of Entrepreneurship Development, thank you so much for your time and like for sharing this insightful information and some great advice that you have given.
Thank you so much also for your time, for reaching out and for having me here. I really enjoyed it. And if there's anything, I can do in the future, if there's some questions for the students have,
Yeah,
you can always come up to me. You can always contact me. I'm happy to help out.
great. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
Bye.
Bye bye.